Good morning, everyone. Rollen is running as far behind as he has ever been. Missing out on my interesting conversation subjects on Tuesday. Didn't get to put on the hat, if you know what I mean. I figured I'd go back and try to fulfill the asks that I had. And I've got this sovereign citizen video that I was asked to check out. I do know a little bit about that subject. On this one, I checked the comments and it appears that Andrew Bridgen is an MP over in England. I am not steeped in not to be an asshole, but we just celebrated the I don't have to worry about England Day. Now I'm mostly kidding because I think the world is a much smaller place than back then. The filter would be I don't think Masonic calls are full of bad things. I think they're full of corrupt people. The toolkit, the information, and the knowledge is probably beneficial to society. Just kept from us because, God forbid everybody'd have it going on. Then there'd be no one special in the big house at the top of the hill, which I'm pretty sure is what the system supports. So, that all being said, let's go. It's kind of long. So, let's say we might stop at a spot. I'll watch it, come back, and reflect on what was in it.
So good morning, Andrew Bridgen. Lovely to see you again back on my little channel, Wise Women Weekdays. Thank you very much for coming on just for a short chat. How are you? How you been?
I'm surviving. It's not easy for anyone at the moment. World events, domestic events, and it's fair to say that the establishment have not given up attacking me since they got me out of Parliament at the last general election.
Yeah, yes, exactly. And I know, as we were just saying off record, we were talking briefly about that. Thank goodness you're still here. We need people like you. As hard it must be, I can't imagine what it's like to be in your shoes because you really are fighting the fight. So thank you on behalf of myself and everybody else that's listening. Can I just start this short chat, Andrew? Because on the back of the last video that we did, somebody made a comment about to me saying, Karen, why are you getting involved in Freemasons? And I said, well, what are you talking about? And then they said, well, Andrew Bridgen's a Freemason. Did you not know that? I said, can you give me some evidence? And some stuff came my way personally and actually on the comments. And I did then ask you.
Now, to be fair, we realize that Masons aren't actual. Now, I hate to do this. No, I think this is. I personally believe whenever there's a Wikipedia a note, they're talking about something that the algorithm, the system is leery of. But I live in the middle of nowhere. It's a 900-person town. The next town got 1,100 people in it. Masonic Hall. Everywhere. Now, up here, pancake breakfast. Somewhere else, intentions to rule the world. I have no idea what's going on at the hall there in Washington, D.C., but out here, I don't think it's the same. So, membership shouldn't come with demonization to start. That's ridiculous. That's a fear-based belief system. Let's just call that where it is. All of everything is not bad, right? It can't be all of them. They're not all corrupt. They just can't be.
Directly, as I am now. So, Andrew Bridgen, are you a Freemason?
No, I'm not. I've never been a Freemason. I've never been to a lodge meeting. I was approached by them 3 times, probably 25 years ago, to join the Freemasons. And my answer to them was, no, I do not wish to join. I don't want anyone to say to me ever in my life, he only got where he did because he's a Freemason. And I'll put it to you, if I'd been a Freemason, I wouldn't be in the position I am in now, would I?
No, indeed, I would.
Well, I find that interesting because I don't, you probably wouldn't have to use their, gosh, I'm having a hard time separating the esoteric knowledge and arcane skill set away from the fear and propaganda of the organization. And as Passio would point out, I mean, the Hall system is only as good as those running it. If you're all steeped in evil, darkness, control, and Crowleyan sex magic, yeah, you're probably all scumbag, junkie, porno freaks. But let's say you're trying to balance your mind, your emotional state, get in touch with your consciousness, and try to be a better human being. Well, work harder and comply more really isn't the answer to that. I just gonna point that out. I work 40 plus and I ain't gonna get nowhere working my ass off. So there has to be more to success than hard work. Now I am struggling because I'm thinking great success comes with lack of care. Because when you care, it's hard to put everyone underneath you. But the idea that just membership alone should be this scary, that confuses me.
I agree with that. Not that I know much about Freemasonry, but thank you for answering the question. So now let's move on to, you're saying it's a year since you've been out of Parliament. What has that year been like?
Well, first of all, it was looking into the election.
Here's what we're going to do. Looks like the Freemason stuff's right from the get-go, and I get a big, well, I'm not involved. I will play it. I'm going to play some in the background, but I don't think we have to listen to the whole thing. Let me see. We'll see what he's been doing, and I'll get back with you. To be fair, by the 7-minute mark, I don't want to... I was intrigued by the Freemason angle of the title, but after the clarification that no, he is not a Freemason and has disdain for anyone who would gain success through, let's say, the lodge system, 7 minutes in, and we're election admiral improprieties, yeah, it's a bad election. I was trying to go highbrow. I feel like I should pull out my big bag of vocabulary, but the truth is it seems like shenanigans with the vote is what I'm getting right now.
3%, 63% to 3%, having stood up in Parliament to defend my constituents. And I would have said that on the doorstep, 70% of people in North West Leicestershire knew, even last July, there was something wrong with those vaccines, and they weren't going to take any more.
So, yeah, that I just heard. Ange finally is recovering from losing what she had because of the pandemic. Looks like she finally found something that's going to work. Just started 2 days ago. But we ended up being those people that just dropped out of society because we weren't going to participate in that charade.
They got the message. One of the ballot boxes that came in, I mean, what I believe has happened is that they'd taken the ballot boxes somewhere, taken my votes out and put other votes in to make the ballots up. So the right number of ballots were in the ballot boxes.
So I find this very interesting. We're going to go back to shortening up this content. If you're interested, down in the description of this video is a link to this video. And you can check it out at your own speed. I watched, even though I pretty much believe it is, I'm in the group that just got left out to the cold. We were just brushed under the rug. It doesn't care what sort of secret, corrupt organization possibly runs the world. If they're practicing Crowleyan sex magic with the wee ones of society, shh, we're not going to talk about that no more. Let's just be done with that, even though that and no more going to blow people up seem to be the ideas we were voting for. And F us. F us. We're going to do whatever the system wants to do to bring in the New World Order. That's what I believe. I believe Project Warp Speed, the master of Project Warp Speed, is just a puppet being handled by like the rest of them. Has to be. I'm watching the cult of personality not know how to deal with a couple of their core beliefs being brushed under the rug. Because, yes, tragedy sucks. It's too bad I got a world news feed that shows me tragedy strikes at all times somewhere. The sad truth is, someone just was tragically lost. Nope, someone on the planet was just tragically lost. Nope. Oh, maybe a group of people were just tragically lost. But the same child abusing a-holes are running the show. I'm going to go with mortality and accidents happen. Humans build in dangerous areas at all time. Society is so terrified to talk about who's running the show that you can have elections stolen right in front of you. Who cares? The child abusers in the big house, they want it that way. That's what I believe. I believe we've been, I believe what they're going to try to normalize next is going to make moral people's skin crawl. And that's because they're so afraid to talk about anything that they will accept almost anything.
But it would appear that one of the ballot boxes, they put too many in. So one of the ballot boxes didn't add up because there were a lot more ballots in there than they'd given out in the polling station. Well, I mean, I can ask yourself, how does that happen?
Well, we called it mail-in voting here. What? It's everywhere. If you can't pull off a paper ballot on the same day, counted like some of the places, and it doesn't matter. It appears the whole thing is just a joke. Both sides are always in power and in bed with the people that are abusing the children. That's the same group you let make your decisions for you are the same ones that covet your children. And when you have all the evidence laid out in front of you, you're willing to believe authority over the victims. Damn, that is a tough position for humans to take. I don't see how they get there. But we're here right now. I mean, this is horrible, but it seems like the typical game plan that activists run on election day.
Happen ever. So that was a real eye-opener for me. And shortly after the election, I took a phone call from a supporter, someone I'd been speaking to probably for 5 years. The madness started over the pandemic and everything. And he confided in me that he, obviously, him and his wife had voted for me, as they always did. He was very disappointed. But he said that I need to tell you that I actually work for Ipsos Mori, the polling people. And he was, tasked with delivering the exit poll in northwest Leicestershire. And he'd recruited all the people to do the exit poll, covering for breaks and lunches, and from 7 in the morning until 10 at night, they would have stood outside the polling station. And they'd actually chosen the polling station that I voted at myself. It was Huddlescote Community Centre. And he said we were all sorted. And he said that he knew nationally that Ipsos Mori was struggling to recruit enough people to man all these polling stations on polling night, but Northwest Leicestershire was all sorted. And he said then inexplicably, 2 weeks before the election, he took a phone call telling him to stand down, that they didn't want to poll Northwest Leicestershire. And they couldn't, because, in my view, if they'd have polled Northwest Leicestershire on the day, that poll would not have matched the ballots that were in the ballot boxes at the count. And on top of that, every time I've left the house for the last year, and whether I've gone to a coffee shop, the shopping centre, the supermarket, or a walk in the countryside, I've bumped into people, and they all tell me they voted for me.
Yeah.
About 3 months.
All right, we're gonna leave it with this. We're still, so that's almost 10 minutes in. We're still on voting issues and an election subject. Honestly, the title, bless their hearts. I'll even. I'm curious what your other title. I'll give you a follow. I'll subscribe and see what comes in my feed. But this title, especially when he gets this label on it. Actually, I don't think any of these labels are helpful to a channel. I'm pretty sure that's the system trying to tell you what it wants you to think. But it seems to taint the entire message, because for me, it's about election irregularities and other things. I got a little farther in. I find this interesting.
That Nigel Farage will not be the saviour. The mere fact that the same mainstream media who won't talk about vaccine harms, excess deaths, the WHO, net zero, and analyse the real science behind carbon dioxide, the gas of life. The fact that they're saying quite openly that Nigel Farage will be the next Prime Minister shows that Nigel Farage has to be in the club, and I know he is.
Well, there. Now, we agree with that. And maybe the problem is the corruption of the knowledge at the Freemason Lodge being used for self-gain or power instead of the freeing and unslaving of humankind. Because that's what Passio. So all of this is coming from our Mark Passio years of learning, and the outcome of all of that knowledge is, if one of us is enslaved, we are all enslaved, and that the state of being free. Well, if you're a bricklayer, a mason, but just a free individual with free will, conscience-driven meat sack, and the ability to maybe exist under natural law. I think they have a different plan. Everybody to their own little algorithmic data point. And you do what we're told. I think it's very interesting. We're not going to learn nothing. The unfortunate truth is the people who know what's happening, and I don't think I'm one of them. I'm just watching for trends, and I believe eventually enough will be enough. And it turns out that rage on the internet doesn't get much done. Now, it does sway opinion, and hearts and minds swayed one way or another make a huge difference. But as always, I would never want to be a hearts and minds propagandist either. I only want to notice it's being done. I don't want to, right? It's a divide and conquer strategy. It's good to know it exists, bad to partake in.
I'm afraid I think he's deeply compromised. I believe that he was blackmailed to come back. They knew that Tice wouldn't take enough votes off the Conservatives to give Labour the massive majority with such very low support of less than 30% support, and he's got 65% of the MP.
I'm gonna wrap this up. If you'd like to watch it, just because we've got a lot of content to get to, and I really thought it was gonna be about Freemasonry, and that was just sort of the hook to get you to click on it. Now, I'm okay with that. For me, I should say, because I didn't know the gentleman and I don't know your politics over there. I got my own stuff, and here's what I believe. The hearts and minds of the citizens decide what candidate, or they think, what candidates should be in power so they can keep imposing the rules they want to impose. It makes everyone feel like they're doing something while they dig the hole deeper and deeper and deeper. I mean, that feels like the only actual truth that could be viewed now. The hope that my opinion will change something tomorrow doesn't prove that it never changed anything yesterday and back. So, I mean, come on. It's that definition of insanity. As long as we keep doing the same thing over and over and over, we're just crazy. And they'll take advantage of it. And I think that's what you'd hear if you finished the whole thing. Now, I admit, I'm stopping about halfway through. Because I wanted to get on to more esoteric knowledge, not current events. Y'all gonna have to leave your computer screen. I've been gone for a week. Nothing'll change from behind our monitors. That's for sure. Later.